Eclipse. Okay. Okay, well, for now, let's just work in CodeEnvy. So we can all see the workspace here. And I think what we're gonna uh, do you guys want to do one project for each, so each of you have your own game, or do you want to do one project for everybody? It's really up to what you guys prefer. Okay, let me I'm gonna pull in my project, the one that I did. Right, and this will be what we're gonna be doing. Okay, so I think for now, I think what we can do is do one project for everyone, and then we'll split up the development process because that's more of kind of the way that the robotics season is gonna go. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a new project in the CodeEnvy. As soon as Aiden gets his stuff together, I will get you guys started on Eclipse. But for now, since CodeEnvy is what everybody's on, we'll just do that. So I'm just creating a project, and the project is basically where it's one thing. So like the student example thing we were doing yesterday, that was a project, and then I've got the Code Camp, which is also a project. So it's just kind of the same thing. And this is just going to be called the Danjin Mini, and that's just an inside joke with the robotics team. So whenever we make a new project, we get our blank main.java just like yesterday. And just as an outline of what our code is going to look like at the end, I don't know if you guys heard me explain it, but basically it's going to be a game where a human player plays against a CPU, and you basically do like random attack strengths, and the person who has the most XP after, or the person that has a positive HP after every turn if the other one's negative is the one that lives. So kind of similar to what we were doing yesterday, but instead of against players, we actually have a bit more of a CPU versus human player thing. So the way that I structured my code is I have a computer player class, a human player class, and the main class, which is what we're going to have here. And so what we're going to start doing is I'm going to go ahead and make a human player class. And I'm going to make a CPU, or computer player. And so these are all the classes that we're going to need in the development process. And you guys remember yesterday that I told you that every class needs a constructor so that we can bring it into the main class world. So yeah, so basically we're gonna think up first what kind of elements each player is gonna have. This is the one part that's a little bit more difficult to do when we are since it's online. But you know what? Should I try to do? I'm gonna do something crazy. All right, so we got our paint. We got paint here, and this is called wireframing, and I mean, usually I do this on a piece of paper, but it's hard to show you guys. So, okay. So let's see what we're gonna do here. So we have our main class. You've got our main class. If I remember how to use this. All right, so we got our main class here. And then we've got a computer player. I think we can make this quite a bit bigger. And we're going to get a human player here. And these are classes that are going to be run by the main class. And so let's think about the characteristics of each class, right? So the human player just is basically going to be very similar to our student class in the last example. So what kind of characteristics is a human player going to have based on what we remember from last class? Yes, health. So let's see how we're going to illustrate this. Yeah, we have a grade too. Um, I really don't like paint. Grade. I did, for my example, I did age, but it's the same principle. And I'm trying to get us to think of one more that we also had in yesterday's class. That's another thing, yeah. One more, though. One more important one. What does every human have? Yes, but characteristics. I was trying to get us to say name. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you guys were getting right in the right places. So how about the computer player? I said that the computer won't be having a name. Um, so how many of these can we translate over to here? Like what characteristics would the CPU have? Yes, and let's see if we can Control C, Control V. Does that work? Yeah. Attack strength. And then one more element. So for our human player, the grade and the age is going to determine how strong they are. So for the computer player, I said, let's have a difficulty level. So, like easy, medium, hard. Instead of having like a grade and an age that determines your attack strength, we're going to have the computer player have a difficulty setting. Yeah, exactly. And it'll determine their HP and it'll determine their attack strength. And same with the human player. So to make things simple, the way that I did it was um, your age was both your attack strength and your health. And so just like yesterday, your attack strength was from 0 to your grade. This time it's going to be from 0 to your age, right? And with the computer player, okay, so let's try to write this. Uh, age equals attack strength max. Age equals HP. so I'm 17, so my attack strength maximum, so like my attack strength would be 0 to 17, and my HP would be 17. And then for the computer player, maybe some like fair numbers would be like, I don't know, do we want to have like an easy, medium, or hard? That sounds good, yeah. So like, let's try. So what should the easy difficulty, what should be the attack strength max and the HP? 10? What about medium? 15. And hard? 20. Cool. So this is good so far. We have a pretty good base. Now let's try to figure out. Can I draw a box? I think I can draw a box. Look at that. There we go. Actually, let's draw a box here, like that. So these are the classes. These are the characteristics and the variables that each of the players are going to have, and these are just some things about them, some characteristics that we're going to code in. And so let's see, what functions are we going to have? So just from yesterday, what functions did we use to like attack, and like how did like did we have a function to generate numbers? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. So we're gonna have a function called decrease HP, right? And we're just gonna, for purposes of the wireframe, we're just gonna denote by parentheses that it's a function. And should the computer player also have a decrease HP? Mm-hmm. All right, and then another thing that we're gonna have to do is get something called accessor methods, and we're gonna be commenting today's program much better than yesterday's. So we're gonna have comments each function that we make, and so accessor methods. Um, access Accessor methods for when I program is everything that has a function that starts with the word get. So get attack is an accessor method, get HP is an accessor method, and get attack strength is an accessor method. Accessor methods just mean that you're accessing a variable. So if we remember from yesterday, name is private, grade is private, and attack strength is private. And the reason why these are private is because we don't want our main program to accidentally change somebody's name. So instead of having it be public and making it accessible by our main class, we create functions called accessor functions that will just return the specific user's grade and name and everything. So you have two kinds of functions. So you have your regular functions, and then you have your accessor functions. So if we look at these are decrease HP is really our only non-accessor method. So what accessor methods are we going to have in this new program? It should be very similar to it should be very similar to yesterday's code. So get HP, and let's just keep it like yesterday and just do HP as a capital H and lowercase p, and then get attack strength. That should be it, actually. So we can just... I'm trying to relearn how to use Paint. Okay, good. So this is a good base. Let's look at the constructors. So let me just move all this up here. And the constructors actually have much more to do with the characteristics than anything. So I'm just going to move these up here. So if we remember, the constructors are what bring each object into existence. So let's see. These were the constructors that we used from last class for the student. So since student is going to be basically the same thing as human player, we're going to have actually let's not even use the default constructor where it was by default 10th grade. Let's just use this constructor. So we're going to write down the parameters for this constructor. So we're going to do constructor. And the parameters for that constructor is going to be a string. And we're going to have a name. And then we're going to have an integer, or int. And it's going to have an age. You guys following me? Cool. And then for the computer player, since they don't have an age and they don't have a name, what parameters are we going to put in their constructor? And int, yep, int difficulty. Cool. So this is all, I mean, usually I do this on a piece of paper, but I guess Paint Paint is doing the job. So yeah, this is basically the wireframe. So every time that we make a project, whether it's large scale or small scale, we always want to always want to like think about it and draw it out, so that we can know exactly what to code. Because now that we know our constructor is going to have a name and an age for the human player, and our constructor is going to have a difficulty for the computer player, all we have to do is convert this into Java. And we even know the variables that we're going to have, and the accessor methods, and even the actual methods that we're going to use for the different functions. So I think this is our, okay. So in our main, we can leave this right here, and I'm just gonna write something like "Welcome to the dungeon." And the only thing that this is gonna do is it's just gonna print "Welcome to the dungeon menu." And so here, inside of the human player class, the first thing that we're gonna do is have our constructor. And if we look at, can we do something like, we can't do like side by side. So if we look at, I'm going to copy this, this constructor and paste it into here. All right, good. And so as we can see, it's giving me an error because we know that this is a constructor. And so remember what I said about the constructor has to be the same name as the human player. So we're just going to change this to human player. So your constructor has to be the same name as your class. That's how the computer knows the constructor. And now we're getting errors that these variables can't be resolved as a symbol. And the reason for that is right here we had our variables that we were using for each. So I'm going to bring those into human player. And I'm just going to make a comment that says local variables. And then local variables just mean that they are variables that, what's this? Local variables just mean that they're variables that are unique to each human player. So each human player is going to have a name, each human player is going to have an age, and then we'll do initial HP a different way. We're just going to have another variable that has HP, just like we had right here. So HP is this HP right here. Attack strength, this is attack strength right here. Grade / age, we're going to use age, and we have a name. So these are our variables for the human player, and then here's our constructor for the human player. And then, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to do string A and then int B as the constructor. And if we remove these right here, our string A is going to be the name. So this dot name equals A. So that's just saying whatever we put in here is going to be the name. And then we enter down, and then int B, that's going to be the age. So this dot age equals B. So just like we did yesterday, the student, we just made the constructor different for the human player so that it fits our specifications. So looking back at our wireframe, all of these variables are in the local variable part, and we've got our constructor with the string name and the int age. So yep, that's all we need to do with the human player. Now for the computer player, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the snipping tool and take a little snippet of the code here and paste it here. Because we're basically going to copy a very similar process with the computer player. So, Aiden, did you get your computer figured out? Okay, good. All right, so we'll address that at some point. Are you on CodeEnvy? Okay. Do you mind reasoning through what exactly we're going to have inside of our... Oops. So, do you mind helping us through selecting the global variables for the computer player class? So you see right here in our this is a snippet of our human player class, the compute human player class, and so the variables that we figured out in our human player wireframe are local variables that we created inside of the class. So can you look at our wireframe for computer player and then make the variables that we determined for the computer player class? Basically, we're redoing this section for computer player. The computer player is not going to have a grade. It's based on the difficulty, actually, for computer player. Yeah, so just like we said right here, and this will go in our constructor, which is going to be a bit more difficult. Basically our grade is going to be 10, 15, or 20 for this one, and that's going to be what the difficulty is. So you can just go ahead and type it in, and I'll keep this open so you can look at it. Actually, I'm gonna split screen too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, yep, that should be good. That's good. Those errors are not real errors. And the only thing I'm just going to do here is I'm just going to add a comment that says local variables. And now the constructor is the more difficult part. Basically, it's going to be, let's see, attack strength has a typo. Okay, so the constructor is still actually going to be really similar to computer player. What's the name going to be for our constructor class, our constructor function? So what's the rule? What's the rule with how we name functions that are constructors? Mm-hmm. And what about the name? Like, how do we know what it's going to be called? It should have the same name as the class. So what are we going to call our constructor function for the computer player class? Yeah. So, and we're going to have, um, the only thing that we're going to have in that constructor is the difficulty, because that's what we said here inside of our wireframe. So, yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, well, attack strength, actually, you know what we should do is we would do HP. We would do HP. So go ahead and say that HP is equal to A. Because our beginning HP is going to be their difficulty. Perfect. Perfect. And then, Brendan, can you go into the human player class and add uh, this.hp equals B, which is the age? We're just making the initial age of the. Mhm. No, it'll. No, you don't need to get rid of it. I think. Yeah, it should be fine. We might not use this.age now, but actually, yeah, we don't really need age, do we? So we can delete this.age, and then since it's this.hp. Yeah, so the age is the HP. So in our main class, we're going to ask what's your age, and that's going to be what the HP is going to be. So good, good. So you got both of the constructors done. And now these are just dumb errors. And now next thing we're going to do is we're going to program in these functions. Decrease HP for both, or for both of these actually, it's decrease HP, and get attack strength. So Aiden, could you help me with these are or I think we're just going to call these fighting methods. And so could you go ahead and write the header for decrease HP? Well, are we returning a value? We usually don't return a value if it's not an accessor method. And remember, accessor methods, we can tell they're accessor methods because they say get in the beginning. So yeah, it should be a void. You spelled decrease wrong. Cool. Yeah, that's good. The only thing is that all methods are actually public because we're going to use them in the main class. Yep. Yes, we do. You can go ahead and do that. And that goes all the way in the top, line 1. It's just java.util.random. Cool. Mm-hmm. And Brendan, can you go ahead and do that for a human player? And let's actually borrow the decrease HP from our other class. Oh, okay, cool. And then get attack strength should be the same too. So I'm just gonna get those into snippets and paste them into Paint. Of import java.util.random, yes. Oh yeah. You do not add a semicolon because no, that's okay. You do brackets. And then, since we were talking about it, can you go ahead and import the random uh, package, which should be just java.util.random, because we're going to be generating random numbers. That goes all the way in the top. Whenever we import something, it goes all the way in the top of the file. No, it would go all the way line 1. That's the only thing that ever goes above only thing that ever goes above the class declaration, unless like you want to add comments, because Java just ignores those. I hope you're not too lost, Michelle. The reason why I'm having them do most of it is because they were doing something very similar yesterday. But if you were to watch the videos just for the development process for the when we made the students fight each other, then you would pretty much understand what we're doing here. Cool. Cool. Okay. So for you, Brendan, I think Aiden's actually already working on that. Um, Aiden is already, or actually, all that our decrease HP should have, you can actually pretty much. Okay, so inside of our decrease HP, yep, that's good. So inside of our decrease HP, Brandon, we will have a parameter, because we're telling it decrease HP by how much. So you can just do the same thing that we did in the last program and just do int attack for the parameter. That would Yeah, that would just go between the parentheses. You're good. Mm-hmm. Uh, Aiden, you were confusing get attack strength with decrease HP. Decrease HP should just have one line, but okay, the only thing that you really have to do is just change the name of this to get attack strength. This dot difficulty minus r dot instant. Actually, the only thing we would need to do, or where did you get the 5? What is the attack? That would, I mean, that works. That's a way to do it. Uh, yeah, I mean, you know what? That does work. It just depends on what value we were trying to generate. Because like the way that we did it yesterday was that the attack strength would be a random integer from the number 0 to the person's HP. But I mean, that also will generate a number, and yeah, I mean that works. Only thing is that you spelled attack strength wrong. But and then here where you did random r equals new random is just add a space between new and random, and then that should work. Uh-huh. Yeah, so get attack strength works, and this is actually technically an accessor method. So this decrease HP, if you uncomment it, it'll work as long as you change grade to HP. Like the decrease HP function is perfect. as long as you replace this dot grade with this dot HP. Okay. Okay, Brendan, this is good. The only thing is that you need to put this inside of the get attack strength function. Yeah, so as long as you just do public int get attack strength. And let me make sure that he... Okay, so Aiden, I'm just gonna go ahead and change public void to public int. And then we're just gonna return this dot attack strength. Yeah, so because when we do get this dot attack strength, we want to be able to get the amount of attack strength that we did get. But other than that, this is good. Yeah, just remember to tab everything over one so that it's inside of the function. Let me see. Okay, that's good. And then you have to change the word void to int. The word void, it has to change to int because remember, where we say return out, we're actually returning an integer. So yeah. So whenever it says return something at the bottom of our function, we know we're returning a value, so it can't be void. Void functions don't have a return thing at the end. Everything else, like if this was string, we'd have to do return and then a string. If this was double, we would have to return a double. Yeah. Other than that, I think it's fine as long as we count the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, we're good on those. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add a comment that says, gets and or generates and returns the attack strength. All right. Mm-hmm. It should be okay. So where are you confused? HP. Yeah. We would do just like we did here over in this one, where it was this dot grade equals this dot grade minus attack. It's gonna be this dot HP equals this dot HP minus attack. Yeah, and we're using the variable attack from the parameter, not attack strength. So we don't need to use this dot either. Just do it. No. just inside of this function. So the variable attack that's in the parameter, so int attack, that variable is only, you can only work with it inside of the decrease HP function. So between these two brackets, because attack is a different variable than attack strength. And since we don't have a variable in our local variable section that is attack, we can only deal with that here. So like when we put a number in our main, when we do something like, you know, Aiden dot decrease HP 5, that variable attack is going to be equal to 5. And that's when we do it in here and we put the number 5 between the parentheses. So, yeah, so that line's good as long as we just remove the this dot. And decrease HP is good. Get attack strength is good. Except this dot difficulty -5. This -5 should not be there. It would be fine as long as we do this dot difficulty. So it'll generate a random number from 0 to the computer's difficulty. And it should be fine. Return this dot attack strength. Yep. Okay, this is looking good. Just gonna clean it up a little bit and count the. I think we're over to. Just counting to make sure we have the right number of brackets. Yep, that should be fine so far. Well, I'll come back. All right, cool. So let's see. So he's done with get attack strength and decrease HP. You're done with get attack strength and decrease HP. Okay, so now the only thing that we have left to do is the accessor methods. So I'm going to go ahead and go and like I said, the accessor methods are going to be get HP. Actually, technically get attack strength is an accessor method, so I'm just going to go in here and put the accessor method comment above. So all we have to do now is make a get HP function, and that should be the last thing we need to do so we can make the game, at least in the initial stage. So Aiden, can you go into your computer player and create the header for get HP? Let me get the snippet from get HP. Yeah. Yeah, so once again, it's going to look very similar to the get HP from the student class that we did yesterday. Brandon, the only difference is, or Brendan, sorry, Brendan, the only difference is that it's going to be this dot HP instead of this dot grade. And then Aiden, yours should also be this dot HP. This dot difficulty for the computer player class is only to help us determine how much attack strength they have and how much initial HP. So the reason why we have a variable called difficulty and then another variable called HP is because if you're of difficulty 20, that means you can attack up to 20 strength, but you are not always going to have 20 HP. Though that is going to be the starting HP before anybody hits you. Okay, so we have the accessor method, the only one that we're going to need. So now we should be able to hop into main and then do everything. So here I'm actually going to teach you guys how to do something that's really useful in programming, and that is called the scanner class. So if we look at my code right here, this is basically me doing the project that you guys are doing now, but in my own style. So if you guys can look in the top right here in this box, it actually asks what is your name, and I actually can type in my name, and then it'll ask my age, and then I put down 17, and then I can enter the CPU difficulty, and then that's when it actually starts fighting. So to be able to do that, to where it asks you for input and then you can type in your input, you actually have to use something called the scanner class, and that's something that we're going to import. So it's java.util.scanner. So Brendan, can you go ahead and all the way in the top of the main class, can you go ahead and import java.util.scanner? Okay, Brendan, that's you're importing the random class, not the scanner class. You can just switch out. No, you're fine. You can just switch out random with scanner. And so scanner is actually really, really similar to uh, random in that we have to instantiate it. I mean, and this is basically the way that we bring in every type of class. So, like, if we look at our main class from yesterday, we, the whole something something equals new something. We did that here with Harley, John, and Declan. That's how we did with that's how we did it with everybody else. So in our main class, we're actually also going to make a new one. So um, Aiden, right above me saying "Welcome to the Dungeon Mini," all you really have to do is copy the same thing um, for the scanner. Since we already imported it, it's basically the same framework as the random. And let me grab a random example. Did we make a new random? Aiden made one. Aiden made one, but Brendan did not. So let's see where you put it. You put it in front of get attack strength. Public int get attack strength. Why is it not highlighting it? Okay, so Brendan, you need to make a new inside of your program. You need to bring in a random object. So you import a java.util.random, but you have to actually get a random object and put it into your program. So Aiden did that in his program, but all you have to do is the first line of your get attack strength function. All you have to do is go ahead and copy just random r equals new random. Let's see, you're missing a semicolon right here. That's fine, I fixed that. That's good. You're good. Let me just try to see if I can fix these. Okay, cool. And now that scanner I equals new scanner. Okay, and then the only difference with the random is that we're just going to type in system.in. I don't really know why it requires this inside of the constructor. I mean, if we were to look in the if we were to actually go ahead and look in the documentation for Java, it would tell us what parameter we need to put in here. But I just think system.out is printing and system.in is the scanner. So this should be fine. Scanner. And I'm sorry it's being so finicky with the syntax highlighting, but that's just the way it is. So that is a we can actually print this, right, Aiden? Like, we can actually find a way to print that. I don't remember how to do that. So, you know what we're going to do? Valuable life programming skill. If you don't know how to do something, Google. No. Oh, God. Oh, God. I think... There's no efficient way to do that. That sucks. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. ASCII generator, or ASCII text generator. This doesn't look like it has too many lines. Oh, God. Oh, this is gonna be a pain. That's fine. Okay, so we can just do this, and then I'm literally just going to copy and paste each line. This will probably take a little bit. It is. It is. And my original, the first time I ever programmed the Danjin, like the game itself, I actually also did this. What happened? Oh, shoot. One, two. Oh, okay, yeah, that works. I'll go ahead and... What is this project called? We're ready to run that when we're done. Okay. I'll go ahead and paste those things in. I'm just copying everything, and I was waiting until he was done. We're doing line 3 now. Cool. Okay, this should work. Illegal escape character? Oh no. Oh, we can't print out those characters because those are like illegal characters in Java. Oh, what? That's so lame. Oh, because the backslash. Yeah, the backslash, you can't do the backslash because that's like what you do for comments. God. Okay, well, never mind then. Okay. So it looks like okay. We're getting a couple of errors. Let's focus on here. Let's see. In our human player class, line 18, this dot grade. This dot grade, we need to change that into this dot HP because, yeah, you're fine. Okay, that's error number 1. We did that twice. Java, line 25. And, okay, so, no. It's the same error, but it's a different resolution. So you just have to write the word string because we're actually creating that variable. So out wasn't a thing before, so we have to create the variable first and then edit it. That's the one thing that's different with Java than any other programming language. Like with Python, all you have to do is just do out equals something and it'll create it and assign it. But no, in Java you have to create it first and then assign it. So we did attack, and then we fixed this grade out, and then we did out again, and then out again. Okay, I think your thing should compile now. Okay, you're still getting string cannot be converted to int. Oh, that was my bad. variable grade, this dot grade. So we're just gonna once again change this dot HP, this dot graded, this dot HP, and then the whole program should compile. Yep. And now let's check out Aiden's program. Aiden's program just compiles. Okay, so now that we did human player and computer player, now we're going to go ahead and prompt the user for input, and then create the objects for each player. So if we remember, each let's delete that. Each human player is going to have a name and an age in our constructor right here. So we have to physically ask the user, what is your name? So for that, we just do a regular system.out.println. So let's do Brendan. Brendan, can you do a system.out.println and just do something like, what is your name? Cool. So let's just add a semicolon at the end. And then we're gonna want to prompt the user for input after that. So the way that we do that is we just have to declare a variable. So let's do string name equals I dot next. And that should work. Yeah, so you guys remember in random we would do next int. It's the same thing. Like, and if we were asking for a number, and when we do what is your age, it will be next int. But next for string, it's not next string, it's just next. That's just one of the things that you have to remember. And also, and let me actually pull up the Java API so you guys can see what we're doing. So all of this that I've told you guys so far, it's actually in the Java API. So if we look at the scanner class, which should be down here. Now these are just things that I have memorized so far. But for the scanner, if we look at right here, and the API is your friend. Like, you're gonna be able to you should, like, when you get good at programming, you're gonna like visit this with everything. So next right here. So if we look at I.next, what we're doing here, and we look over here, it just says finds and returns the next complete token from this scanner. So what it's doing is it's just getting the next complete token from the scanner. In that case, it's going to be our string here. And then we're doing their age, Aiden, not their grade. So if you just do what is your age. Now the program would still work, but we just decided to do age. It's yeah, it's age, and then it should be an int. Because remember, an age is a number, so we are going to do integer, and then equals I.next int. So also you can see, yeah, next int. Just like with random, instead of next, it's next int. It'll be one word. Let's see. It would be this right here. I.next int, like this. So it's the same thing as I.next, except, oh, forgot a semicolon. Same thing as I.next, except it's just next int, because next int reads as an int, next string reads as a string. That's the only difference between the two. And so now that we have these values, I'm going to go ahead and separate these sections, and in this comment I'm just going to do asks the user for information. Now we have to actually ask one more thing, and we have to ask the user what the difficulty is going to be for the CPU. So it's going to be similar to age because it's going to be an integer. But Brendan, could you go ahead and write a system.out.println, please enter difficulty, or please enter CPU difficulty, or something along those lines. Yes, it will, because it's working from numbers 1 through 20. Or I guess we could go higher than 20, but it'll just get to. The reason why I'm doing and is because it's just easier. I mean, technically, we could do like the way that we would go about doing a string. And you know what? Actually, we do know how to do if statements. So actually, yeah. So sorry, Brendan. Can you change difficulty to huh? Let's change difficulty to a string, and then yeah. No, you're right. I just kind of was gonna do a shortcut, but I mean, technically, yeah. It should be that way. Good, good, good. So we're just gonna change this to string and this to string. And now we're gonna basically do an if statement. And we're gonna do something like if I'm gonna do it right here on the thing. If difficulty equals easy, then you'll do something like difficulty. How do we do that? Difficulty level, or like we need another name. Let's do level. Level equals 10. And then do the same else. We do like this, else if difficulty equals medium, then level equals 15. So just like that. And then for all three, and then we close the brackets whenever needed. Yeah, you can do it'll have to be else if. So just like you see right here, it's like else and then another if. Yes. But you need to add your brackets. But yeah. Make sure you're coming out of the comment, because right now you're technically still inside of the comment. Okay.
see. What do I have for computer player?
Wait, what's that?
Because I'm looking at the constructor for computer player, and then
Oh, okay.
so A equals 15 for a medium.
Oh crap, are we doing that inside? Yeah, no, A equals 15. Let's see. So it'll basically oh, okay, I see where you're going. So what we're gonna do here is okay, yeah, that's good. Let me just I think that the way Java works, you have to do something like that and then put it on the same line. I can't tell because freaking CodeEnvy is really, yeah, so you have to put it on the same line and then that should work. Okay. And we gotta put semicolons at the end. And then what I'm gonna do is so remember we can't just or it should be equals, not equals equals. Equals is when we're comparing. And then let's declare a variable called A. So if you can go ahead
we declare the variable A in it's under public computer player, and
yeah, we did that in computer player, but we need to do it here too. So the reason why that is because yeah, so A, right? Sorry, computer player. Where's this? Yeah, A.
Right,
this is just where'd you put it? Wait, hold on. This is our main class. Okay, here. Oh, I think I see what you're doing. This, the top part right here in the computer play constructor, that is actually not the way that we bring the, that's not actually the way that we bring the computer player into existence. That would be if this was the computer player class. So the only difference, that there is instead of making a new constructor, our constructors for here should look like this. So just like this, where you see that, it should be computer player CPU equals new computer player, and then between these parentheses, we're going to have 10, 15, or 20. You know what I mean, kind of?
Not really.
Okay, I'll try to walk you through this. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and change the A's to the levels. And yeah, Aiden, you kind of got stuck with the harder constructor, and I'm sorry about that. But okay, so int level. So that should work. Okay. So what's this giving us? Yeah, this is wrong. Okay. So basically, the only thing that we're doing right here is we're gonna get this guy's difficulty. So we're just gonna do determines the CPU's difficulty. So we're just getting the difficulty for the computer and then calculating it, and then we're storing it into a variable called level. So we're gonna make a new section here called constructing human and computer. And so if we look right here, if we look at this constructor where it goes scanner I equals new scanner, that method, that's just that way that we bring things into existence. That's actually the way that we bring everything into existence. So scanner is a class just the same way that computer player is a class. The only difference is scanner is a class that we have inside of our, or scanner is inside of the API by default, and computer player is a class that we just wrote. But and the basic framework for constructing something is class name, and then object name equals new class name, and then parameters, and then a semicolon at the end. Let me spread this out, and let me make this a bit bigger. So for every single class that we're instantiating, it's going to be like this: class name, object name equals new class name, and then parameters. So for example, for the scanner, we can see what the heck just happened? We can see the class name is scanner, object name is I, and then new class name is scanner, and the parameter is system.in. So in that same way, we can look over here in our computer player class, and we'll look at public computer player because it's a constructor, and we see that the only parameter necessary is A, and that A is it represents difficulty, right? So then we go back into our main here, and following this formula, we just go class name, and we're like, okay, what's the class name? Well, that's computer player. So computer player, and now we need to come up with an object name. So somehow related to what the computer player is. So we're just going to do CPU for the object name because it is the CPU. And then equals new, and then again we're going to do the class name, and that's computer player. And then once again, the only parameter for the computer player constructor is that int A, which is the difficulty. So, and you remember that we determined the difficulty by doing if we write easy, if we write medium, if we write hard. Depending on what that is, it'll change level. So all we really have to do here is put the word level, the variable level, and that'll be, so after this code runs, and after we write either easy, medium, or hard, after we write these difficulties here, and I missed a semicolon here. So after we print this out and we get a response, it'll determine what the level of difficulty is, and all we need to do is construct it. So that was pretty easy for that. So following the same formula, I'm going to walk through also the human player constructor. And once again, it's the same exact formula with the class name, object name, and then new class name. So what we're going to do now is well, now it's the human player. So human player, and then on here I'll just do user equals new human player, and then we'll look at what the parameters were for that. So if we go back to our constructor, and I don't actually remember, okay, so it's string A, int B, and then the string represents the name, and the int represents the age. So we go back here, and you remember that we did here, right here, it's string name equals i.next, int age equals i.nextInt. So we already have these variables. They're called string and age. So the only thing that we need to do is name, and the parameters is just name and age. And it's important to note that the order does matter, because it says right here, name comma age, just like we did here. This is name comma age. So every time that we construct a new class, it's going to follow this same formula right here. And I'll actually paste this into here somewhere, because that actually is pretty important. I'll have to type a new, yeah. So we always follow this same formula when we're writing something new. So now that we have our computer player built and our human player built and constructed, now it's time to work out the logic for it. So just like we did last time, let me think about what we did. Actually, let's look at last time's program. We just did okay, so it's a while loop here. While both the user and the CPU HP is greater than 0, then we write anything. So first of all, let's just do the while loop. So, Aiden, can you go ahead and write the header for the while loop? And so, yeah, so it should just be, wait, let me see. Let me make sure that we have computer player HP. Yeah, we got HP for both of them. And so we'll write, so what's going to go inside of our, what's going to be our conditional? So what should be the while inside of the parentheses? Oh, okay. You just copy and pasted it. That's cool. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we can really borrow from this. So, can you go ahead and basically just write the new while loop?
Let's see. While. So we want. Do we have a get HP variable?
Yes, we do. Yep, perfect. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, so inside of this while loop is going to be all of the code for the game. And basically, let's make the user attack first, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. User attack. Do we have a get attack strength? I think we do.
Yeah, we do, but real quick before you do that, let's see. We're going to need to make a new... We're going to need to make a new variable here called attack strength. So int attack strength. And the reason why we need to make a new... Why did everything just get underlined in red? The reason why we need to make a new variable called attack strength is because just like we remember in our main, we have to do like the John attack spread in 4 and then the attack strength. And so we're going to structure it. We're going to structure it a little bit better here. So what we're going to do is very similar to here, but the only difference is we're going to do attack strength equals user.get attack strength. Right? And that's just saying we're just generating the attack strength here, and we're returning it. And now that we have the attack strength, now we can go ahead and do the decrease HP. How do we do this? If John could attack, decrease HP. So go ahead and do CPU.decrease HP. And then inside of that parentheses, all you have to do is attack strength. And make sure you put it, yep, perfect. And now we will do the inverse of that, but with the CPU instead, or just flip flopping both of those. So Brendan, can you do the next 2 lines of the code?
Okay.
So basically, everywhere where you've got user, you're replacing it with CPU out of those 2 lines.
Okay, cool. And let me just, all right.
You wouldn't have to rewrite the whole while loop, just the 2 lines, just attack strength equals user dot, just those 2 lines, yeah. And it would just go right under these 2.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Would I do the same, except I would replace user with CPU, or CPU with user?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Both.
All right,
both.
Cool.
You just flip flop them.
All right, I just had to check first.
Mm-hmm.
Semicolon. Okay, that's up. I did it.
Cool. Yep. And now the only thing that we have to do is type the print statements, like the, user attacks CPU for this damage, and then CPU attacks this for this damage. So I'll flip it back over to Aiden. And can you go ahead and do, just from what you remember, if you get stuck, I can help you out.
Let's see. What's the...
Let me know when you're done.
That should be good. Wait, I forgot. No, I didn't.
Okay. That's good. I just see two things. Attack should just be attack strength. So just change attack. I think it should be this dot attack. Yeah, so change in the top one, change attack to this dot attack strength, and in the bottom, change this dot attack to this dot attack strength. That's just because it's the name of the variable that we decided to make it. And I'm just going to add a plus here. And we close parentheses. Should be able to close. Oh, okay, you got that. Cool. I'm just going to shift this over a little bit. This dot name attacks the bot for this dot attack strength damage. The bot attacks this dot name for this dot attack strength damage. I think we're almost ready to test this out. Now, we're definitely going to get some errors, because that's just the way the world works. But
question is, how many?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You will always get errors, but errors are good because we can just debug them through the processes. So I'm just going to make this big. Okay, and then okay, so starting out now, we are missing Java 27. Oh, it should just be else if instead of else. Oh my goodness, okay, we got a lot of stuff. 18 errors, jeez. Okay, can I make this bigger? I can't tell where the errors start. Wow. Okay, cannot find symbol. Oh, it should be equals equals. That was my bad. Because remember, we're comparing symbols. Alright, we'll try it again. Obviously, we're still going to get errors, but we'll try it again. 16 errors. 1 error less. Oh, equals equals. Oh, I see what we did. Okay, so the issue here is because we're comparing a string, we have to encapsulate the... We just have to put it around some quotes because it's a string. So just like down here where we do a system.out.println, we put the string between quotes. Same thing here. We're comparing it with quotes, so we just put those in quotes, and we should get 3 less errors. You know, slowly working our way towards not failing, not getting any errors. Alright, cool. Now let's try this again. Okay, less errors, less errors. Unenclosed string literal, yeah, we just did that. Okay, now we get a lot, 12 errors.
That's less than last time.
Yeah, user.getHP. Now let's see, cannot find symbol. So user.getHP, and what line number is this? 35, right here. User.getHP. So let's go to human player and make sure they got a getHP. Okay, yeah, so they do. The only difference is that here we have...
It needs to be camel case.
Yeah, it's just lowercase. And then, so we fix that error now. Cannot find symbol here. And then int...
So the capital H's should be lowercase, is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's just the way that we programmed it. I mean, I know it's a little bit confusing because the symbol name for HP is both lowercase, and for the camel case it's capital H. The issue is we're running into a problem where it's like we have to pay attention to camel case, but we also have to pay attention to the fact that methods and symbols are lowercase. So it's messy and it's confusing, and this is more than likely one of the things that I would probably break the rule for. But I don't want to teach you guys to break the rules. Okay, so get a text string cannot be applied to given types, and this is in user.getATextStrength. So get a text strength, okay. So the problem here is that inside of getATextStrength we have int attack, and we actually don't need to have a parameter inside here. We're not actually working with attack. That's something that we're working in decrease HP, not getATextStrength. So that should lower the error count by 1. Now we get 10 errors. So I mean, it takes a while, but this is, yeah, this is bad. Okay, so non-static variable cannot be referenced from a static context. I think the only difference here is that I was wrong, and it should just be attack strength and not this dot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take out the this dot for everything. I could just do Control F. Okay, let's see. We should have less errors now. 2 errors now. Okay. Required int. So once again in CPU, in getATextStrength, we don't need an int in here because we're not using get user.attackStrength except for up here. Okay, so that should give us 1 error. And now cannot find symbol in user.decrease HP. That is probably a name thing. Decrease HP? Yep. So now it should all compile. Still have 1 level. Variable level might not have been initialized, and that is main line 33. Variable level? Well, I did do int level. We're just going to move the declaration of level. We're just going to move that to the top where all the other ones are. Int level. I don't understand why it's doing that. Legal start of expression, what?
Should be int level.
New computer player level. Yeah, it says the variable level might not have been initialized. So maybe if we do 0. Okay. I don't know why that worked. Oh, I know why. Okay, I know what the error is. So we need to initialize it as 0. And you know what? It's probably good practice to initialize all of our variables, all of our int variables as 0, just in case it doesn't work. And the reason why it said that the level has not been initialized is because we were compiling without running this function. So we weren't asking the user what the difficulty was, and we weren't getting a response, so we weren't initializing the variable. So basically the takeaway from that is it's good practice to initialize all of your variables as 0 just in case the program doesn't run. So now that we know that we compile, let's try running it. Okay, so welcome to the Danjin Mini. What is your name? And we're going to do, what's a funky name? Stephen Haley. And we're getting errors.
Maybe it's because you put a space in between. Maybe it's just not prepared for that.
No, I think I know what's going on. Yeah, string you. Well, actually, let's try Steven. Yep, that was actually there. Good catch, dude. How old are you? How old is Stephen Haley? 18. Enter computer difficulty easy. And then it doesn't do anything. Okay, so it's not. That's not good.
Maybe if we just copy and pasted the constructing human and computers into each difficulty.
No, it should do it down here because we did create a computer player. This.hp equals a, return this.hp. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna try doing this 10. And as this, we're gonna do 10. So maybe that'll work. Maybe. So that was a mistake that we were having. So we were having some sort of mistake with I think the way that we can fix that is by I'm just going to go in and initialize all the variables up here. Int age equals 0 and string name equals nothing. So since this is a string instead of 0, I'm just going to do quote quote, and that's just going to be like a blank string. So now let's try doing this again, and then level. Oh my goodness. Oh, oops. We can't create a variable twice. Okay, so it's still not running it. So what we're gonna do is system So we're doing this right here because we're testing to see what the value is, what value it's spitting out. Cannot find symbol. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Okay, so 18, so user.getHP is working, CPU.getHP is not working. CPU.getHP is returning a 0, and we have to figure out why that is. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do else. I'm just going to make a case to, if it's an error, then we'll run it again. Error. Okay. So something is happening here where when we enter the computer difficulty, it's I see. Let's do here string difficulty equals, and not declare it over here, and just make it equal that. Okay, now cross your fingers. Still getting an error. It's not identifying the it's not reading those. Let's see what I did here. We did kind of stray a little bit, but that's fine. String username equals input dot next. I dot next. Yeah, we did that. And then difficulty equals input dot next int. Yeah, so we strayed a little bit too far, so I can't really use the past code to figure out what's going on. So the problem with this is it's not reading, it's not able to compare the string that we put in between easy, medium, and hard. So we need to figure out why it's not doing that. I.next does read. It should read the name. Yeah, so it is reading my name, so it is working as far as that much goes.
You're back.
Mm-hmm. I can't figure out why it's not doing that. Okay, let's see. What we can do, and this is a cop-out, but just do difficulty 1, 2, and 3. And then do difficulty next int. And so, because it's not reading. Okay, yeah. So I don't know why it's not working, but when we tried to compare the string, oh crap! I know why. I know why it's not working. Oh, that's a little bit more advanced. Yeah, I probably won't have time to get into that. But basically, rule of thumb, we can't actually compare two strings together. it just clicked for me. So we can't do we couldn't do it like easy, medium, hard, because that's not the way strings work. Strings are a data type that's a little bit special. So let's just not worry about that problem, and then just do, and then let's just for now do the regular 1, 2, 3 instead of easy, medium, and hard. And then if we have any time later on, I can teach you guys all about strings and why they work in a special way. But now that we have this working, we can keep working on the rest of the program. Now we need to add a function to determine who the winner is. And let's see. I'm going to go back into the window here and go into our old main. Man, don't you just love Paint?
Oh yeah. Wait, can't you not even be able to rotate text in Paint?
Oh, you can rotate text. Hold on. Let me teach you how to rotate text. Important life skill. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna rotate this. Okay. So normally,
right.
You'd think if this was like a Photoshop or something, you would just go here in the corner or something and then just like turn it, right? No, that's not how that's not how Paint works. Now to rotate, right? You have to go like this. So we can rotate, but if we want to rotate, like, did I just screw this up? No, if we want to rotate stuff like these right here, we have to go. What's the tool? I forgot what the tool is called, but there's like a special. There's a special tool. Oh, there you go. Here. We need to do, you need to actually do like math.
Aw, but who wants to do that when you're making a piece of artwork for Deviant?
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, I can't remember how to rotate. Yeah, but basically it's this overcomplicated thing. I mean, you can rotate. You can kind of rotate, but it's just much.
But it's not an easy process.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got some good stuff going on though. I hope I'm not going too fast for you guys.
No, you're not. I mean, at least I'm getting all of this. You'll have to ask Aiden, Michelle when they get back, or if they're already back. I don't know.
Yeah. Michelle, since she missed that class and she missed us, like doing the first part, I don't know how much I can ask for her help for with in this particular thing. But once we start, like tomorrow when we're going to be in the Steam lab and actually like working on the robot code and stuff, that's when Michelle is going to be more prepared for it. And she said she'll like look into the videos that we were watching, or the videos that I recorded last time, so that she'll get caught up on the stuff that she missed. Because okay, so like arrays was pretty important, but not in the context of like robotics and stuff. And we'll see if I can do the arrays portion. Or add a bit of an array kind of thing into this, because I did have arrays. Like here, let me show you what the game does. The game that I made. So it did ask for your name,
All right, I'm back.
Okay. And then you put your age in, and then it was a difficulty either 1 or 2. But as you can see, I did have names for the bot, and that was using arrays. And then after each, I'll teach you how to do that. After each, every time both of them attacked, I printed out like how much HP they had remaining, and then I just printed out a bunch of lines so you could differentiate. And then I also had a sleep function to where it would sleep for a specified amount of seconds. But yeah, I mean that's just the way that CPU.sleep. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back. So what I was trying, the only thing that we have left for the beginning part of the game to be done is we have to mimic the mechanics of this game. So if at the end of the game here in our main, I hate that it's so underlined, if one of the characters has greater HP than the other, then one of them wins, and if the other has greater HP than the other, then the other one wins. So it's basically copying the same thing, really, and just making it specific to our user here. So Brendan, if you could go ahead and copy over what we did in yesterday's class over in the context of this new game.
Yeah, okay. This is the part, right?
Yep.
Okay, so which is the should be the CPU and which is the actual human?
Well, that depends on the way that you want to do it. So it doesn't really matter. But as long as, so right here, if you look at this logically, so it's got if Declan is greater than John, then Brendan wins. So same kind of principle. So you can either do if user is greater than CPU, then user wins, or you could do if CPU is greater than user, then CPU wins. As long as you're alternating them in the first and second ones. Yeah, so if user is greater than CPU, good.
Wait, should I in the quotation should I put this dot name wins or something like that?
Yes. Or okay. Not this dot, just name.
Wait, should should it be like name? Hang on. That was my bad.
No, you know what you're doing. Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. And you just have to put a plus in between the two.
Plus where?
Plus between name and wins.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, that should be good.
Yep, you're good. Okay, so now we're done with the basic framework. Let's try it out real quick. Carlos attacks the bot attacks Carlos attacks the bot attacks Carlos, blah blah blah, 18, computer wins. Okay, so the computer won. Alright, well, it works. Now, the only thing that we need to do is, I would say, just like we did right here, you see how I separated each, like, turn, or set of turns between little lines? So that's pretty easy to do. All we need to do here is, and I gotta make sure that this gets out of the way, too. All we need to do as far as this goes is just go system.out.println, and then in these quotes, and then just do lines. So if we run this again, it should make it so that yeah, okay, so it'll divide every turn by that. And like it's kind of hard to see because there's only 2 turns, so let's give Brendan 20 years of age, and we'll make the difficulty 3. Yeah.
1 damage.
That was a bit of a fail there, Brendan.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's separating it between the 2 lines, which is good. Now I can teach you guys something. I think the way that we'll do this is we'll keep working on this until 4 o'clock, and then when 4 o'clock hits, I'll get you guys set up on Eclipse and GitHub and all that jazz. You guys cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so now I'm gonna teach you guys a new thing called toString. So you guys know, let me see if I can like make this bigger. Let's go like that, and then just like make this longer. Okay, so when you do toString, or when you do system.out.print, you know that in here in the parameter, you can print pretty much anything, right? You can print an integer, we can print a string, you can print pretty much anything. You can print anything that you put in there. So now, what if we tried to go in here and like in our program and do something like system.out.println and we do CPU? So what this would do, and I missed a semicolon, so I'm just gonna copy the semicolon and paste it. There we go. Oh, crap. There we go. So what this would do is if it doesn't have anything that you specified to print out, it'll print out the place in RAM. It'll just print out a bunch of numbers. But we want to be able to do something like system.out.println CPU, and it'll print out something about the CPU, you know?
Yeah.
So like, for example, in my code right here, you see where it says player Carlos has 14 HP, and then Jarvis, which is the CPU, has 4 HP. You see where it says that right there? If we go to my human player right here, I have a function called toString that says player name has HP, and then return out. So whenever I do system.out.println user right here, it goes to here, and it goes to the function called toString, and it does whatever it says here. So I'm gonna take a little snippet of toString right here, and I will walk you guys through how to make one, and then I'll do one of them, and I'll have you guys do the other one. So copying that right here, and then the only thing, human player, and then I'll just copy this line right here. So basically, oops, this function, the fact that I wrote this right here, makes it so that I can run this inside of the main, and it'll actually physically print out, and if I can get my console, it'll print out this in the end. So toString is useful when we're trying to just print out the status of a certain piece of code. So the reason I want to do that is because after each turn ends in this game, I want to make it so that it can list the remaining HP for each user. So the way that I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this for the human player, is I'm going to make a new function at the bottom called public string toString, and then open bracket right there. And then just as we copied it over here, that's giving me an error that is not real. And so all we have to do is string out equals, and in here I'm just going to do player, and then this dot name has plus what did I do here? Player this dot name plus has plus this dot HP plus HP.
And I'll be right back.
And so this function makes it so that if I were to do, all I have to do is, this is basically just saying, hey, if somebody tries to system.out.println me, do this. And it'll actually print out player, this name has this HP, like that. So instead of having to do it manually and like writing it out inside of main every single time we want to print out the person's HP, all we have to do is that. And then the only thing that we have to do right here is we're going to make a new line, and we're just going to do system.out.println and then just user. So we're not putting a string in, we're not putting a name in, we're literally just putting in system.out.println user, which is not a string and not an integer, it's an object, and we're just letting it decide what it wants to print out. And so I'll show you what happens if we try to print out CPU. And you'll see what the difference is. So we're going to say there's a plus here at the top somewhere. Yeah, that was an error. So if we try to go here, my name is Carlos, I'm 17, difficulty 3. So as you can see now, I haven't written the toString for the human player, or for the computer player, but I did write the toString for the human player. And over here in main, we just did system.out.println user and system.out.println CPU. And since I wrote the toString for the human player, it says player Carlos has -14 HP. But over here in the computer player, it doesn't have an HP, or it doesn't have anything really for computer player. It just lists like a bunch of RAM, and like this is nonsense. Like we don't need to know this at all. So we need to rewrite the human player, this toString. We need to write it for the CPU. So I'm going to make a new thing here in the bottom. I'm just going to make some space, and I guess Aiden, do you think you could try to write a toString and have me walk you through it?
Sure.
So you would be modeling basically the toString that I did, but for the computer player.
Let's see.
And so the type of the function is going to be string, so public string, and then toString.
Let's see.
Yep, good. And now we'll just print out, the CPU has whatever HP.
There we go.
I'm back.
Good. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, that looks good. Oh, you need a semicolon and then a return? Yeah. So that should be ready. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try to run it again and see what it prints out. How old are you, Aiden?
15.
12.
I meant you're like mature. Yeah, good. It works. It works perfectly. Okay, so player Aiden has 3 HP and then the CPU has 3 HP. Yeah. So every time now, since we wrote a toString for a computer player and it wrote a toString for human player, every time we do system.println and then whatever specific user we made, it'll print out their name and their HP. Yep. So now the next level of complexity we can add to the program is we can actually do an array. And the way that I did it right here in this program is that in our computer player, it randomly generates a name for the computer. So depending on, let's see, we'll run it a couple times, or we'll run the main a couple times. And so if you can see, I'll write this in Carlos 18 and then difficulty like 2. And then it'll say that in this case, the name of the bot or the name of the CPU is Eve. And then if I run this again, well, now it's also Eve, but let's try it again, and it should generate a different name. Yeah, now it's Jarvis. So it actually randomly generates a name from the array that I made right here. So basically, and I'll basically take a snippet of this code right here. Create and fill an array list of possible names, and then randomly select a name from the list and assign it to the bot. So we're going to be doing both of those steps, and I'll make sure I write the toString thing that you guys learned inside of the course outline for today, and I'll write the array thing too. So inside of our computer player, let's make a new variable called name for the computer, because we're going to make a new name for the computer. So it's just going to be private int name. And then we're going to make a new we're going to give our robot a new name. So first we have to make an array list, and you guys have the declaration or the way to make array list here, and you really should need to just copy that over. So Brendan, can you go ahead and using the code that I wrote, copy and make a new array list for called names where we're going to put a bunch of robotic names?
Alright, where do you want me to put it exactly?
You should be able to put it under the constructor for the computer player class.
Okay.
So under constructor and before fighting method.
Okay. Still in main, correct?
No, this would be in computer player.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'll put it here.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And camel case. Does it have to be the names you already gave it, or can I like make up one
You
of
can
my
make
own?
up any names you want.
Semicolon.
Mm-hmm.
That should work. I don't know why it's not highlighted, but I did do it.
Yeah, that should be good. Names equals new array list string. Good, good. Okay, so now the same thing. I'm not sure if Aiden's there. Aiden, are you there?
He's muted, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay, so now what this is doing, right, is we have an array list. Oh, this is gonna be cancerous.
Oh, okay, he's here.
So,
He's here. Alright.
wait, what's up? Oh, is he in the chat? Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Okay, so basically now we have an array. Oh, this is so bad. I can't draw. Okay, let's do shapes.
Hey, I mean, it's kind of hard. It's hard to draw with a mouse anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so we basically have an array, just like I taught you guys, and can we draw lines? Yeah, we can. So there's 3. So we basically right here. This is an array, and we have Adam here, and then we have Jarvis right here, and we have Leo right here. And 0, 1, 1, and 2. Always remembering that you're not going to make the same mistake as Carlos did during the robotics competition and say that the first element in an array is 1 and not 0. So, and then the name of this, and this is just the way that it was taught to me, and then the name of this array list is names. So basically now what we're going to do is we're going to use our random number generator and generate a number from 0 to 2. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to, we know it's going to be 0 to 2, but we're going to program it to where we can add as many names as we want and it'll still work. So Aiden, and you don't have to actually talk for that, but Aiden, if you could go ahead and, I mean, you kind of have the answer right there. Well, go ahead and just copy the last 2 or what's the name of the random? Do we have random? Java.util.random. What's the name of the random right here? Random R equals new random. Okay, so a small thing that I'm going to do is right at the bottom of this, I'm just going to do random R equals new random. Because the random is down here inside of getAttackStrength, we can't use the random number generator up here, only down there. So I'm going to remove it from here and put it up here, and now we can use it anywhere in the program. So Aiden, if you could go ahead and we're going to basically, you can copy the last 2 lines that I have on the wireframe paint program, last 2 lines down here. You can basically just copy those and paste them, but instead of rand.nextInt, it should be r.nextInt. And then I'll basically try to explain what's going on with that. I don't know if he's there. Okay, well, I'll try to explain what's going on. So inside of our array list, right, we have a function called names.size. Dot size, dot size is an integer, and dot size will return the number 3, because the size of this array is 3, because there's 3. Adam, Jarvis, Leo, that's 3, right? Now the problem is we can't generate a number from 0 to names.size, because if it selects 3, that's not an index in this right here. That's just a complication with the way computers work. Because remember, the first element in an array list is 0, not 1. So if the random number generates the number 3, it's going to break the whole program, because there is no element in here that has an index of 3. So what we're going to do, and I can probably do it and walk you through what I'm going to do. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an integer called nameIndex. And all I'm doing here is I'm just creating a variable called nameIndex that's going to store the index of the name. So if it ends up storing the number 1, it's going to be the name Jarvis. If it's the number 2, it's going to be Leo, like that. So int nameIndex equals r.nextInt. So we're telling the random number generator, please generate a random number from these values. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do names, which is the name of the array dot size minus 1. And the reason why we do this number 1, and this is one of the biggest things that confused me when I was learning arrays, is why it's number 1 or minus 1, is because if we did names.size, it could generate by accident the number 3, and if it generates the number 3, the program's going to break. So if we do minus 1, then it's only going to generate the numbers 0 to 2, which are all the elements. So it can generate 0, 1, or 2, which is exactly what we want it to do. And so the next line that we're going to do is name equals names.get, and then the name index. And now get is also a function inside of the array list, and I'll also be able to show you here if I open a new tab. And I can actually show you inside of the Java API. If we just Google, you can literally just Google Java API and go into the API. And if we go to ArrayList, we'll be able to see that there's a function called size right here. And the function called size returns the number of elements to this list. And then get let's see if I can find it. Get, right? Get, and then inside you put index. So no matter what kind of type it is, I can just do names.get and then the number. So if I did names.get 0, it would return to me the name Adam. if I did names.get1, it would return to me the name Jarvis. But I'm saying return names.get, and then this is going to be any number from 0 to 2. So what we're telling in conclusion to the computer is, please give me a random number from this list. So it's going to have an equal % chance of being Adam, Jarvis, or Leo. So it can be any of those names. So now we have a name for the bot. And so the only thing that I'm going to change down here is, instead of saying the CPU, I'm just going to delete that and then just do this.name has HP. And now if we run this, we'll see that we get a bunch of errors, which is not supposed to happen. Oh, okay, I know what I did wrong. It was name is a string, not an int. So let's try that again. We still get a bunch of errors. Identifier expected. Oh, I think I know what we're doing. We're probably missing... Forget what that error means. Identifier expected. Okay, let's see what I did over here. Array list string names equals new array list string. Oh, I know what we did wrong. Yep. We need to import the array list package. So that error was trying to tell us that we hadn't made an array list. Every time we make an array list, we have to import the array list class. So now that we've done that, we're still getting the error. Huh. Okay, at this point, I don't know what to do. Let's see what this error means. Okay. I know what the problem is then. If I'm not mistaken, this should be inside of the constructor. So the problem that we were having is that we placed this in the wrong place. So this whole name generation thing was actually supposed to be inside of this constructor, which is fine. Now that we know where it's supposed to be, we can just copy it and paste it and then tab everything over. Now I think it should work. Yep, Carlos 18, difficulty 3. And now, as we can see, it generated Adam this time. And let's just make sure that everything is working, and let's run it again with another name. It generated Adam again. And now it generated Jarvis. So it is, the random number generator is working. And we know that it's generating a random number from 0 to 2, and then making that into the index. Yeah, so the only thing left to do is... Oh, I need to take this call. 1 second. All right, so now the only thing left to do is, now that we have, I think we have a pretty complete game. The only thing left that I can figure us to do is to do the sleep command, to where it'll sleep for a specified amount. And honestly, that's a bit of a difficult function to do. And I remember that I just copied and pasted this. So I'm just gonna do the same. Copy it and paste it. In robotics, it's actually a lot easier to write a sleep function, and I'll teach you guys how to do that tomorrow. But without the robotics package that we can't import because we don't have all the programs needed, it makes it a bit more difficult to actually do stuff. So I'm creating a new function called sleep, and then just copying and pasting it. And so now the only thing that we need to do is, after we print out the CPU, we could just do CPU.sleep and then 2, and it should work. Yeah, so now every time it ends, it will wait for 2 seconds before starting the next. So, I mean, that's the most basic type of game. I mean, we can really scale it up a ton. Just like yesterday's, we can scale it up a ton. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but if we wanted to, we could add stuff like a GUI where it asks you if you want to attack, or if you want to if you want to attack, or if you want to defend, or go pick up other stuff, or it really is very fluid as far as what you want to do. I think for now the only thing we'll really do is I guess I can show you guys the original Danjin game, because why not? And
sounds fun.
I'll show you guys, I took this to a whole other level. It wasn't with I think that's the password. No, that's also not the password. Yeah, it might be logging. Let's go the Danjin. Yeah, so this is the original Danjin game, and as you can see, I actually did add the printing stuff, and I'll show you guys it's basically this same thing but in Python, and I made it pretty advanced. So okay, so that didn't work. So if you pull it right here, so you could just do something like enter. And so I actually did this for APCSP, and I got a 5 on the exam. So I have a function called prompt choice, where it asks whether I want to pick up a sword. So I pick up the sword, and then my strength multiplier stat or whatever. And so you could do stuff like explore, and you find nothing, and then you fight somebody, and you can attack them. And you go into fight mode, and then you attack, and then they attack, and then you can attack again. And I survived that one. Their HP
oh, it's like
9.
one of those. It's like one of those old text RPGs.
Yeah. It is. That's exactly what it was. And this was for APCSP, and I did pretty good. I died. It's actually really difficult to win this game. I actually made it pretty difficult. I've only beat the game once before, and you have a boss battle and everything. I guess I'll try to see if I can. I'll try to see if I can beat the game. So there's a way that you can speedrun just by. So I pick up the sword, and then I explore, and then I flee, explore, flee. And this builds up my HP a lot. So as you can see, my HP is now 1201, and so I can just keep exploring. And so now I can fight stuff. You know, I can fight and attack. And then, you know, you basically gain enough XP, and once you have like 15 XP, I think, let me see, 19, so I have to reach 20 XP to get the boss battle. This should take me through the edge, and then I have the boss battle. I mean, this probably took me like, you know, 6 or 7 hours to make for school. Cool. Yeah, so now it's the boss battle. Pick up the sword. So I explore again. And then we've got the boss battle. And we fight, you know, attack, 550 damage, 509, 52. I win the game. So yeah, I mean that I was basically modeling this kind of thing in a much more simple fashion down here in our program. But yeah, that's just basically to show you that with the framework that you guys have so far, you can really scale it up and do a lot of different things. But yeah, I mean, I guess for now this is good enough for the program, because I do have to teach you guys how to install Eclipse and how to configure GitHub and everything. So I'm not sure if Aiden is still there. Okay, that's fine. So you have Eclipse, right, Brendan?
Yeah, you got me to set it up so I could get it to Java, and like you had me do the like have it on robotics and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can teach you the next step to it, which is downloading GitHub Desktop so that you can be an official collaborator on the team. So here, let me see real quick. First of all, you're going to want to make a GitHub account. So go ahead and go to github.com and then make an account. And just go ahead and let me know when you're done with that.
All right, I set up an account. So personal plan, limited public response. Yeah, I don't want to pay.
Yeah, no, you don't have to pay for anything.
All right. Should I? I don't really care about the emails. Let's see. How would you describe your level of programming experience? I'm basically totally new, but I've done some things.
I mean, it doesn't that part doesn't really matter too much. I don't remember what I put. I think I put beginner back when I started programming, because I've had my GitHub account since I started to program back in 2015.
Alright, so I made an account, so now should I just go and download it now?
Yeah, so go Google GitHub Desktop and download that.
Okay. 64-bit for Windows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Aren't you gonna teach Aiden and Michelle? I think they're here. Like how to download Eclipse.
Yeah, yeah, I will. Okay, so the
Uh,
way that you download Eclipse, and this is on my website right here, is you go ahead and click the Eclipse. Oh, first of all, actually, the most important part of this is actually downloading the Java development kit. And so I got you guys the link that you need right here, and that would be the link right here. And make sure you download the one that's for your system. This applies only to Aiden because Michelle doesn't have a Windows computer. And the only difference with that is I'm going to set up both Windows computers to where you can actually, you should at least, should be able to run the robot code on uh, on the robot. So all you need to do is hook up your laptop to the robot, and you can actually run commands and stuff. That's what I'm setting your computers up for. Michelle, the only difference with her operating system is she can make changes through CodeEnvy. Like, basically, I made it to where I have my robot code in CodeEnvy, and the people that became collaborators, I would let them type in, and then I would put it up in the cloud and then download it, and you can still run. So even if you don't have a Windows computer at your disposal, you can still actually be a programmer and be an active programmer on the team, which is pretty cool. That I set it up so that we can be all inclusive like that. But the people that do have Windows computers do have a little bit of an advantage. So the first step would be, for example, I'm on Windows x64. Everybody really should be on Windows x64. As long as we download this right here, we download Java, install Java, then we go to Eclipse, and we go ahead and download Eclipse and install Eclipse, and making sure that we are installing everything for specifically for Java specifically. And actually, if we look here, I have a handy little link right here that really runs you through the installation process for Java. It's also the one for C++, but we don't program in C++. So just like I said, it matches Java, and this is the environment. And then this is for C++ themes only, so that we don't pay attention to that. And so now we've got Eclipse, and now we've got the IDE, the Eclipse IDE, and we download it for Java right there. Make sure that it's for Java, and this is not necessary. This is for this part, this unpacking and then moving the extracted. That's actually not useful. So once you start Eclipse for the first time, I told Brendan to rename his workspace to robotics, just so that he could make sure that it was in robotics. And then this step is not necessary because it will be automatic when you import. This step is also optional, and I'll make sure that I set it up for Brendan, and I'll set it up for Aiden too. But if you guys did want to follow this tutorial exactly the way it was, the link is actually in the Google Doc. And now this is the part that I was having a little bit of issues with. Okay, actually, this website works already, so we should be able to do that. So this is all the way up to where Brendan is. And this is specifically for FRC. Now, there's a separate set of applications that our team, Hyperion, uses to be able to program together. And that's something that I developed and I chose. So it's basically a system that I made. And if let's see if I can find the repository for the robot. So we decided to host our code on GitHub, because it's an easy way to, make it to where we can share the code and make it to where we can, really be open and let people collaborate. So, we had three programmers on the team, one pseudocoder on the team that really helped us out. So it's using GitHub Desktop and Eclipse. So how are you doing, Brendan?
Oh, what do you mean?
What did you install GitHub Desktop and everything?
Oh yeah, it's settled. I just haven't joined anything yet.
Okay, cool. For now, I think you can't make edits to the robot code, but because Coach Hollers needs to like add you. But what you can do is you can download the code for this year's robot. So what you can do is open up your GitHub Desktop.
Okay.
And then you can do what do we do? File, clone repository.
Okay.
And you make sure you're in the GitHub. Actually, you go over and do URL.
Okay.
And then I will get you the URL. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the Hangout link. That should be it right there.
Okay.
And you can just copy that and paste it into your URL or username/repository. And I'll put that last year's code. Yeah, that should actually work. So also, it is also already on the course outline. So after you put it in the URL, you should just be able to do clone.
It says destination already exists.
Let me see. What was the path that it says?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
So when you do clone repository, you know where it says local path? What did that say?
It's it says documents. Oh, should I do /GitHub because it doesn't have okay, cool. All right. It says cloning into Fatal, unable to update URL base from redirection. Ask for meet Google. Hang on, wait. Let me just. Hang on. Let me try this one more time. Okay, it worked.
Cool.
All right, cool. Yeah.
So now you should have the code cloned, and I don't know if I have mine cloned. So actually, I'm going to do the same thing. So clone repository URL, and paste that, and clone. Okay, so now you have it cloned. And so if you do go to your documents folder and you go to GitHub, you should see that there's a folder that's already called Hyperion. So it is. So now open up Eclipse.
Okay.
And
Eclipse. And 1 second, it's.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take a little bit. Yeah. Once you're in your window, and just let me know.
Okay. All right, I'm in the window. What am I supposed to do?
Is it like the welcome window?
Yeah, it's welcome.
All right, so go to the bottom right and go like exit or whatever.
Bottom right, and should I just exit out of the window entirely, or is?
No, there should be a button somewhere that says like close tab or exit out of the window. I don't remember. I don't get that. I don't get that message anymore.
Am I supposed to go into the code because I have managed to do that?
Good. Yes, that's good. So now what you're going to do is you're going to do File,
Okay.
Open Projects from File System,
Yeah.
and then under Import Source, you should be able to hit the Directory button.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
So if you do File and then
Yeah.
Open Projects from File System.
Yeah.
Actually, let me try this real quick before I tell you to do it because I don't remember. Documents. Documents, GitHub, Hyperion. Okay. Finish. Yep, it does work. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. I'm gonna just do close project, and then just remove. Can I remove the project? Okay, no. So all you have to do is File, Open Projects from File System, and then once you hit that button, you should just be able to hit the Directory button.
Okay.
And when you hit Directory, you should go to your Documents. I think that's where you put it. Documents, and then look for the folder that says Hyperion.
Okay.
And once you click that, you should just be able to click OK once you select the Hyperion button, and then hit the finish button, and you should be able to look at the code.
Okay, what do you want me to do? You want me to do something from there? Because I don't know what to do then.
Okay, so did it you should see under in the left column under your package explorer, you should see something that says Final Robot.
Final Robot?
Yeah, is that right?
No, no, I didn't see a Hyperion folder, but I found a folder that said robot, so I went with that one. I don't know if I didn't do it right or something. I don't know.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to think. If we okay, so go back into your GitHub.
Okay.
And then if you hit it should say in the top left, does it say current repository Hyperion?
Wait, it says current repository Hyperion, yeah?
So now click repository in the top.
Yeah, okay.
Show and explore. And it should open up a Windows Explorer. It should open up a Windows Explorer, and that should tell you where the project is. So for me,
okay.
So for me, it's in Documents, and then GitHub, and then a folder called Hyperion. So what?
Okay.
Yeah. What's your directory? What does it say it's in?
GitHub.
Just Documents, GitHub.
Yeah.
Okay. So now
I'll just do that then.
Yeah, and so just go File, Open Projects with File System, and when you hit Directory, go to your Documents, and then click on the GitHub folder, and that should be it. Let me know what you get from there.
All right, Final Robot. Is that what you're saying, right?
Yep, it should say Final Robot.
Yeah, there's. All right, so where Which one under the final robot should I click on?
Okay, so it's gonna be and you're gonna be like upset because you have to go src and then hit org.usfirst.frc.team4516.robot, that whole folder, and those are the files. So if you click on robot.java, you should see the main code. This is the main code. This is the code that ran our robot.
Well.
Yeah. It's big, isn't it?
Yes.
572 lines. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, good. So now I'm going to try to run you through installing, or no, actually, I am going to see if I'll teach you how to do this through CodeEnvy too, because you're going to want to be able to program on your Chromebook as well. So.
Oh, well, I don't use my Chromebook on CodeEnvy, but I can, I don't even use the email.
Okay, well, well, it's the same process anyway, and I'll do this just in case anybody wants to know how to do it the CodeEnvy way. So, I actually have a workspace called Team 4516, and I'll go ahead and add you to that now. Add member. Can you remind me what? Let's see, Carlos Camp members. Brendan and McDonald.
Yeah, that's me.
So I'm going to go back into 4516, and then I'll invite you as a team developer. So you should now be in the Team 4516, the Team 4516 team. And now if I go to workspaces and then configure workspace, I'll add you as a developer. So adding Brendan and McDonald. So now where it says recent workspaces, you should see something that says robot-code. Is that correct?
Recent workspaces, hang on. It says Code Camp. Maybe it's because I haven't worked on it yet.
Let's see. Okay, so then click. Does it say under Teams? Does it say under Teams that you're part of Team 4516?
Yes.
Okay, so click that and then click Workspaces.
Yeah.
And then, do you see something that says Robot Code?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so click the play button.
Okay.
On Workspace. It failed on my end because I need to close the other. Okay, cool. Now it's starting. So yeah, it's under the same thing. So it should also open a robot.java. And this is the same code, except in CodeEnvy.
Oh, okay.
So
does CodeEnvy only use Java, or can it use other languages?
Oh, you can use any language in CodeEnvy. Python, PHP, C#, C++, C, and a language called H. So you could really do anything in CodeEnvy. It's one of my favorite programming programs for Chromebooks and for like web stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this would be the method for programming on your Chromebook, and if you make any changes here, which we're not really going to be working on until later on. If you make any changes here, I'll be able to see them, and once you're added to the team, I'll teach you how to actually make changes and put them in the cloud. That would be tomorrow, and then yeah. So you can actually make any changes here now. I mean, I would ask you not to, so that you don't like break stuff. But
yeah, obviously.
you could now make any changes that you wanted to the code, and they can be uploaded to the cloud. So, and in Eclipse, unfortunately, right now, you can't make any changes yet and save them because Coach Hollers hasn't added you. But tomorrow, when he does, you'll be able to actually edit the code and push it so that we can see the different changes. So
okay.
yeah, I guess we did end a little bit early.
All right.
If you have any questions, I can answer them. If you have any requests for what you want to do tomorrow with the robot, then I can make a framework for that.
I don't really know. I'm not technically in robotics because like I'm not official, but I'm going to be.
Well, yeah. Well, you can obviously come, and I'll let you drive the robot. It's not like a big deal. Like,
Yeah,
I
I'm sure it's not.
yeah. I'll get the joysticks out, and we'll play around with the robot, and I'll finish setting up the
Okay, that's good, Aiden.
and I'll finish up the installation because there's a little bit of a more. Oh yeah, I did miss one step. Actually, let me get you to install something real quick. So
Oh, what's up?
So in Eclipse, open up Eclipse real quick and hit the little
Yeah,
help
okay.
window. Help window and
And
go.
I'll tell you when I get it up, all right? Because you know.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Let's see. It's ready. Okay, now it's ready. What were you saying?
Okay, so hit help in the
Okay.
top, and then install new software,
Okay.
and then in that window, hold on, let me get you the proper link. And I think I don't know if I put this, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in our Hangout chat. So now it's in the Hangout chat.
Okay.
So copy that link. And when you're ready with that, go ahead and paste it into the window that says work with.
Okay.
Did you do that?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me.
All right, so you did do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you should see that under like the little name box it says WPI lib robot development.
No, it's not there.
Let's see. I'm gonna see. I'll show you what I have down so far. Hopefully I can paste the picture. I can't paste the picture. Dang it. Oh, you can see my screen, can't you?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so right here, I pasted in the link right here where it says work with, and then I put this right
Yeah.
here. And then as soon as I pasted it in, it came up with a little message over here. And the only thing we're going to do is I'm going to hit robot Java development and then hit next. So try to do that and let me know how it goes.
Okay.
Don't hit next yet. Just wait for the message to come up so we can both walk through this together.
Okay, it's still not there.
Is it not coming up?
No, it's not.
Damn, that probably has something to do with like. Uh, could you? Do you think you could share your screen? Do you know how to do that?
I don't know. I haven't really worked with Google Hangouts before, so I don't know.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop presenting. So if you go to the bottom right, you should see a button that says Present Now. Do you see that?
Oh, okay.
And then hit Share Screen. I did your entire screen because I couldn't find the Eclipse window, but
Ah,
I
okay.
mean now I can. But if you go ahead and share.
That's it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I can see
Can
your
you see
screen.
it?
Yep.
All right,
So
cool.
go ahead and click Help.
And then just nothing happens there.
Okay. So okay, hit the X under Welcome. Close that.
Ah. Okay.
I think that might be it. I don't know how behind this is.
Let me just.
Okay, cool. So now hit Help, install new software.
It didn't pop up.
Huh. You get the weirdest errors.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of accustomed to it now.
All right, try it again.
Should I?
Just try it again, I guess.
All right.
Nothing? You didn't get anything, did you?
No.
Okay, just I guess just close Eclipse and open it again.
All right. It stopped presenting because it's like. Because I had it on the I had it on Eclipse, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Do what, Aiden? Oh, is Aiden? Okay, Aiden's sharing the screen now.
Okay.
Okay.
But do I have to install this right now, or can I like try it later?
You can try it later. I'm just trying to. I'm
gonna give it one more shot. And if it doesn't work, I'll just stop for the day because I gotta go run later.
Okay. Yeah. I'll teach you how to do this tomorrow. So.
All right.
Cool. Aiden, if you copy that link, copy that link, that URL.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. See you, man. And then install new software, and then paste it in. And then okay, cool. You did that. Don't hit that whole thing. Actually, just hit the drop down little arrow.
My apologies. I don't understand.
Shut up. Hit the drop down, or not that drop down. I mean like where it says WPI lib robot development, hit the arrow to the left of that. That's fine. Just go to where it says WPI lib robot development and then hit the little arrow. Because if you just select that box, it'll install both the C++ Java development and the Java, or yeah, the C++ development and the Java development. And we only do Java, so I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So hit. Okay. That's fine, Michelle. Thank you for joining today. Okay. I'll share my screen. Is there any way that you can, turn on your microphone so that we can talk? Okay. Okay. So just go to the box. So you know where it says WPILib robot development under the name column, under type filter text, under work with. Yeah, good. And then just select Java. Yep. And then hit next. Nice. Now hit that. Yeah, just hit next then. And then accept the terms. You can read them if you want. I didn't read them. Then hit finish. Oh, he's reading them. Okay. And then it should be installing the software. I'm going to go ahead and catch up with you first real quick. Next, accept, finish. And it'll ask you probably to restart as soon as it installs the software. And that's all. I'm going to stop streaming for now.